This is a horizontal slice of a human brain at the level of the roof of the third ventricle. And I'm going to point out various structures. So the first one right here is the septum pellucidum, and its primary function is to separate the lateral ventricles. And these are the lateral ventricles right here. Now this structure and this one right here is the caudate nucleus. And if these nuclei or one of the nucleus is lesioned, it will result in Huntington's chorea pathology. And these little guys right here, this is choroid plexus, and its function is to create CSF, cerebral spinal fluid. And then we have the fornix bodies right here. This is a bundle of fibers, axons, connecting the mammillary bodies with the hippocampus involved in memory, learning, and the limbic system. And then this big structure, also located on the other side, is the thalamus. And there's a variety of nuclei associated with the thalamus, and I'll go through those right now. This is the anterior of the thalamus, anterior nucleus of the thalamus, and its primary function is learning, memory, emotions, and its inputs are from the mammillary bodies and its tract, the hippocampus, and the primary cortex output is the cingulate gyrus, which would be above the corpus callosum up here. And then this area right here is the VA, ventral anterior thalamus, and there's another one right there. And then we also have the VL, which would be located right here, ventral lateral. And the VA and the VL are both used for movement planning and movement control, and they receive inputs from the basal ganglia and the cerebellum, and the primary cortex output would be motor cortex. And then right here we have the VPL. There's another one right here. And the VPL function includes touch, limb position, and proprioception, pain and temperature sense for the body and for the face. The body would be the VPL, and its primary inputs include the medial lemniscus and spinal thalamal tracts, and the output would be to somatosensory cortex. And then we have the pulvinar, which is located right here, this big structure. And the pulvinar is used for sensory integration, perception, and language, and it receives its inputs and sends cortex outputs to the parietal, occipital, and temporal lobes. And then we also have the pineal gland right here, and the pineal gland creates serotonin and melatonin, and which helps regulate their circadian rhythm, also helps regulate gonadal hormone secretions. And let's see, we have this right here is the internal capsules, and the internal capsules contain ascending and descending fibers in and out of the brain. And then right here we have the putamen, which is a part of the basal ganglia. We have another one over here. And it's a little hard to see in this slice, but just to the side of the putamen we would have the external capsules. It should be over here. It's a little difficult to make out. And then we would have the extreme capsules, which would be a little further out too. And then in between the external and the extreme we would have the claustrum, which are all part of the basal ganglia right here. And it looks like those are all the basic structures that I have identified in this tutorial.